Now let's talk about for loop. It helps us to repeatedly execute a block of code or statements, right? So for loop is used to repetitively do some of the task, okay? Or if you want to execute some of the code all the time, right? Maybe 100 times, 200 times, then we use for loop. For example, this is an example. See, if you don't use for loop, what happens? And then if you use for loop, what happens? We'll see that. Now if you want to print hello friends 6 times iteratively, means without using for loop, then it can be done like this. You can see that hash include stdio.h, main is there, and then in body of main 6 times you have to write printf statement, hello friends, hello friends. See, writing that is not an easy job. You have to at least write once and then copy paste 5 times, so it's a big job. And if someone suddenly asks you to do it for 100 times, so instead of 6 times, if someone asks you to do 100 times, then it's very hard. So your program will be unnecessarily lengthier, right? And coding efforts will be unnecessarily increased, right? Even maintenance and all those things will be increased. And to help us, C has designed a for loop. So that's what we discussed. Now if someone asks you to do it 100 times, then doing iteratively is a bad programming practice, because then you have to unnecessarily write 100 time printf statement. If someone asks you to do 1000 times, then you have to write 1000 printf statements, right? And that's why for loop is required, and for loop is called as entry controlled loop. What it means is that condition is checked before you are entering into the body of loop, right? So this is the body of loop. This is the where condition is checked. So first it will check the condition, and that's why it is called as entry controlled. So at the entry point itself, now it will check the condition. If the condition is satisfied, if it is true, then only it will execute the body, and then again it will come and do the updation like increment or decrement or all other updations. So it will do updation like increment, decrement, right? And then again it will check the condition, and then again it will check the body. Again it will execute the body. So that's why it is called as entry controlled loop, right? And generally it consists of the 3 parts. We'll discuss how the for loop works, don't worry. The first part it consists is initialization process. So this is called as initialization, and then this is called as the test condition. So this is actually where the condition will be checked, and then this part is called as updation part. Like you can have increment or decrement or all other updations, whichever updations you want as a programmer or as a need. And then you can here see that the starting index or the starting of initialization point is 0, means I is 0, and then up to I is 10 it will iterate. So these are called as iterations. So how many iterations it will do when I is equals to 0? Yes, at this, see how for loop works. It will start with initialization first, so it will initialize I to 0, and understand the scope of this I is up to the for loop, means I expires here. I can say I expires here. Why? Because the scope of this I is limited to only for loop. Even if it is written in main, it is not limited to main. Understand, it is even shorter than main, and it is shorter to the for loop only. So if you try to print I here, you will get a compile time error. So if you try to print I here, you will get compile time error, because the I is now valid, or the scope of I is up to the for loop. Now what happens? See, at the start I will be created, right? So how for loop will be executed? It will go to initialization first, and initialization happens only once. Understand, test condition will happen many times, updation will happen many times, but initialization will happen only one time, right? And now I will be initialized to 0, and now it will check the test condition. That's why it is called as entry control loop. Now it will check the condition, and is 0 is less than 10? Yes. So now it will go inside the loop, understand, and it will execute this loop one time. So when I is equals to 0, loop is executed one time. Next, now control reaches here, so your printf and all other calculation logical operations will be done, and now you will reach here, and now again it will go back to the updation process unless and until you get false condition. Now I will be incremented to 1, and again now you will check, is 1 is less than 10? Yes, 1 is less than 10. Again it will enter the body, again it will do the job which is asked for, and again it will reach here, and then again it will go to the updation. So I hope you are trying to understand now. So now it will go to the updation and it will do the updation. So now I becomes 2, and now again it will come back and it will check the condition. Is 2 is less than 10? Yes. So again it will go inside, it will execute the body, and again it will reach to the end of the body, and then again it will go to the updation. So now I becomes 3, I plus plus, right? So now 3 is less than 10, again it will check the condition, yes. So whenever it enters the body of loop, understand, it will make sure that condition is true. So that way things will go. So how much time it will go? From 0 to 9 it will go, understand. So once, let's say I was 8 and now you reached here, and now I plus plus I becomes 9, and now again it will check whether 9 is less than 10, yes. So it will again enter the while body of this for loop, and now again it will go for the updation once the body is executed. Now I becomes 10, understand. And now you can see that 10 less than 10 is false. So 10 less than 10 is false. Why it is false? Because 10 is equals to 10, right? 10 is not less than 10. So in that case now this become false, and now control will directly reaches to out of the for loop, and once it reaches out of the for loop, this I is also dies because the I scope is up to the for loop. It means how many times iteration has been done of this. So what is iteration? Once it tests the condition and once it enters the body, that is one iteration. So again it will go do updation, again check the condition, again it will go inside. So whenever it check the condition and whenever it goes inside this body, that is called as one iteration. It means there are 0 to 9 iteration. Means total how many iterations are done? 10 iterations are done. So this is what basic syntax of for loop. We will look into it more detailed. Don't worry about it.